Hello guys, my name is Shmail. Today I will be looking at long-term memory. So, let's begin. It works. So, long-term memory. Long-term memory is anything you remember that happened more than a few minutes ago. So, long-term memories can last for just a few days or for many years. So, it depends on how much attention you pay to that certain memory. If you pay a lot of attention to it, then that memory will last much longer. So, stronger memories enable you to recall an event, procedure, or fact on demand. For example, that Paris is the capital of France, so that was recalled instantly, and due to it being a fact. And so, weaker memories often come to mind only through prompting or reminding. So, long term memories isn't static either. So, you do not imprint a memory and leave it as if it's untouched. Instead, you often revise the memory over time through this thing called rehearsal, and perhaps by merging it with another memory or incorporating what others tell you about the memory. So, as a result, your memories are not strictly constant and are not always reliable. So, this memory, long term memory, is not always reliable. And long term memory was first suggested by Tulving in 1972. So there are three main types of long-term memory that you've got to know for AQA psychology: episodic memory, semantic memory, and procedural memory. So what is episodic memory? Episodic memory, this is a long-term memory store for personal events. So when you see the word episodic, you think episodes. It's more personal. It's like a drama series. It's more personal, and so it includes memories of when the events occurred, and of the people, objects, places, and behaviors involved. So memories from the store have to be retrieved consciously and with effort. So you have to be conscious, and you have to put effort into actually remembering what is in your surroundings. And so this type of long-term memory has been considered to be like a day-to-day diary, and so a record of daily happenings. So, for example, your last visit to the dentist, that's an example of episodic memory. So, what you ate for breakfast this morning, that is also an example of long episodic memory. And what sport you played during your PE lessons last week, that is also an example of episodic memory. So, the strength of episodic memories is influenced by emotions present at the time. For example, traumatic events. So, episodic memory does involve and must involve emotions, and probably heavy emotions. For example, your seventh birthday, you had a full, you had lots of emotions, full of happiness and joy, and you may have been embarrassed by all your family members singing happy birthday to you, and so that embarrassment, that feeling has like brought attention to you, and so you start to memorize what's going on, and you start to see everyone's faces, the behavior, the surrounding, and so that goes into long-term memory and is classified as an example of episodic memory. Now, the way my teacher told me to memorize episodic memory was elbow, episodic. Now, that does seem crazy, I do understand that, but it does stay in your head. So, phrase elbow, episodic. So you broke your elbow, and this is a personal event, and so this is an episodic memory. Or you can either choose that example, or you can choose the one I said before about episodic episode. It's more personal, it's like a drama series, so you can go for that one or that one. And at the bottom here, I put episodic equals hippocampus, frontal lobe, temporal lobe. So this is where episodic is mainly encoded. And if you look at one of my other videos, I've talked about the anatomy of the brain, and so you can look at that and you can develop on your information on that. So, second type of long-term memory is semantic memory. Now, this is a type of long-term memory store for our knowledge of the world. So, this includes facts and our knowledge of what the words and concepts mean. So, for example, the taste of an apple. So, that involves semantic memory. You like have your gustatory senses are active, and so they remember the taste of an apple, and so you know instantly. If you were to be blindfolded and took a bite of an apple without knowing it's an apple, you instantly recognize that this is an apple, and you do this without conscience as well. And so the definition, so another example would be the definition of incomprehensible, which means unable to understand, and the first man on the moon. So that's also another example. You know straight away the first man on the moon was Neil Armstrong. Like I just said that without having to put so much effort into recalling. And so these memories are less personal and more about facts we all share. So new knowledge tends to be learned from experiences. Now, this easily links into our previous memory, episodic memory. And so episodic memory is about personal events, and so since we learn new stuff, we gain knowledge from experiences, personal events, it is said that episodic memory underpins semantic memory. So, episodic memory and semantic memory are both pretty much interlinked. And semantic memory is pretty much encoded in the temporal lobe, which I am thinking is near the bottom, is pretty much the bottom of the brain. So, third one, third memory is procedural memory. So this is a long-term memory store for our knowledge of how to do things. So this involves things like motor skills, and so this includes our memories of learned skills. We usually recall these memories without making a conscious or deliberate effort. For example, driving a car, riding a bike, swimming, writing down notes from this video, etc. So like when you're riding a bike, you don't decide which pedal to move, you just do it. So since procedural memory does not require conscious thought, people can simultaneously perform other cognitive tasks that require attention. So for example, I could be driving driving my car while speaking on the phone. So I speak without conscious. I don't have to put in so much effort into like recalling words and saying, do I have to say this, do I have to say that, and at the same time I'm driving using my motor skills, and automatically I know when to put the indicator on and so forth. And so the procedural memory is encoded in the cerebellum, which is the back the back side, near the back side of your brain. And the way I memorize procedural memory is I look at the word procedural, I think procedure, how to do something. And I totally forgot to tell you how I memorize what the meaning of semantic memory is, so I just put semantic and knowledge all together, so it made the word semantic knowledge. It sounds simple, but it's the way I memorized it. So that's it for today, and in the next video we will look at short-term memory. So if that was helpful, please do leave a comment down below. If there's anything I can improve on, please do comment that as well below, and do subscribe and like.